Hi there, and welcome back to the Garden of Epiphany. I'm your host, Raven Epiphany, and I'm so glad you decided to join us for week 3 of our Women's History Month series. We're back talking about menstrual health. This week's video will be a little bit shorter and a little bit more informal. I wanted to share with you guys what's in my menstrual toolkit, and hopefully you are able to either build yours or just look at what you already have in your menstrual toolkit to make your periods a little bit more pleasant and less dreadful each month. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Of course, we talked about products earlier this month. For me personally, I love my menstrual cup. Like, when I say it was life-changing, when I discovered that thing, like, yes, that is definitely one of my favorite period products. Not only is it very convenient, because you can wear it for up to 12 hours, but also because of the coverage that it gives, like, it allows you to really be able to move and groove throughout your life without feeling like you're on your cycle for the most part, like going swimming and, being able to just wear underwear without a whole bunch of extra coverage, like not having to worry about, destroying your sheets or anything, some of those smaller things that we worry about as women. A lot of those things are eliminated for me personally with my menstrual cup. And also, honestly, for some, this may be TMI, but for the women there, you know what it's like when you go into the restroom. You don't want to have a whole murder scene, all over the place. So I love my menstrual cup because it allows me to, nicely deal with everything in a super clean way. And there's not a whole hot mess in the restroom. So along with my menstrual cup, of course, I have a pH balanced feminine wash because you have to clean out your cup in between uses. And so I definitely enjoy that. You can find your own, the one that works for you, but you want to make sure that it is pH balanced so that it's not throwing anything off. I also like to use period underwear, as we mentioned earlier in the month. Those are definitely helpful for the days when I don't necessarily feel like working with my menstrual cup, or if I want a break, like say at night or something like that. And those have been pretty cool. I just, discovered those not too long ago, or I discovered them a while ago, but I just started trying them a while ago, and they actually work. Again, I don't necessarily understand how they're able to gather everything, but they do work, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from shorts to bikini underwear to, whatever that you like. You can probably find it in a, menstrual pair of underwear. Moving on, I still keep my pain management tools on deck because even though it's been a wonderful 4 months without cramps, I spent years dealing with cramps, and so I definitely still keep my pain management tools, around just in case, never know. And for me, that looks like I like to have Tylenol rapid release as a backup option because it works pretty quickly and for a longer period of time. I know you can also do ibuprofen, but you have to make sure that you eat with ibuprofen and all these other things. And sometimes, if I'm in the middle of nowhere with no food, no extra food to make sure that I'm eating in the moment, I like to have Tylenol just in case. As a backup option. And my first go-to is CBD. CBD, I like to use tinctures. You can put it under your tongue and it'll work within the next 20 to 25 minutes. And you can also use that same tincture and rub it directly on your stomach or wherever it's hurting, and it will definitely help you out. And so I definitely love going to those tools. You can also, for those who like THC or who, choose to smoke, smoking THC or smoking CBD can also give you some pretty quick relief. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, you will definitely feel that pretty quickly. And so that's a great thing to also have in your toolkit. I also definitely like to wear my loose fitting clothing. Like during this time, I don't like anything pressing on my stomach. Even now that I don't have cramps, like I used to, I still don't like that discomfort of super tight jeans or, anything that's gonna squeeze my midsection. I don't want to do it, especially in those first early days. And so love my sweatpants. In the summer, I love wearing dresses as well. Just things that let my body flow and go without feeling restricted. Those are my go-to options. I also let myself eat my favorite foods. So I used to have this ritual of going to Cold Stone every day one of my cycle. Like that was my thing. I go get my cookie dough ice cream with the cookie dough inserts and enjoy it without guilt. Now, you know, my cravings and things have changed a little bit. I don't eat as much dairy, so I don't usually go to Cold Stone because that may make me feel worse than better. But I do allow myself to eat things without feeling guilty. And of course, I do add in those extra things to be able to replenish my body. I drink, you know, a little bit more smoothies. I eat a little bit more greens during that time, just so that, you know, I'm balancing out. But again, guilt-free eating is definitely a part of my cycle ritual because, you know, cravings are high, and also just during this time, it's a very tired and draining time. And so there's no need for me to be restricting what it is that I want. And, you know, as long as I'm maintaining a healthy life throughout, you know, there's nothing wrong with having some of my favorite things in moderation. Don't have to overindulge, but I also allow myself to indulge a little bit for sure. Of course, I've talked about this in previous videos. Rest is definitely a part of my menstrual toolkit. During this time, I like to, you know, take the day, especially if it's the first day and I have, you know, the ability to, I like to take that day and just rest and watch some of my favorite movies, watch some of my favorite shows. I like to, you know, go on Netflix and see what romance movies they have there because, you know, I be in my feels. I also like to watch my girlfriend's shows during this time. So my sisters, my Half and Half, my Harlem, my Run the World. I've definitely watched Harlem more times than I would like to admit, but either way, those are my favorite go-tos during this time. I like to cuddle up with a good throw blanket. And, you know, have some guilt-free rest time, whether it be in my bed or on my couch, just, you know, chilling like a villain. Again, emphasis on guilt-free because I don't even let myself sit there and think about my to-do list or think about what I could be doing or anything like that. Like, nope, this is rest time. And I also like to sleep a little bit more. So whether that's going to bed early or letting myself sleep in the morning, those first couple of days, I definitely let myself, you know, rest and sleep however much I need to feel at my best. And if that means taking my time throughout the day when I'm not, you know, just sitting somewhere, then I take my time guilt-free once again. I also use my do not disturb a little bit more. So I don't know about you, but during this time, I'm a bit more sensitive. Like my feelings, you know, just, you know, can be a little bit more sensitive. And so I use my do not disturb feature, or even if my phone's not actually on do not disturb, I just kind of monitor how much socializing I'm doing, whether it be, you know, on the phone, texting, being on social media, going to social events. You know, I definitely reserve a lot of time for myself, and as well as kind of monitor the types of conversations that I'm having, how much I am conversing with others and things like that. It may be an introverted thing, but I definitely like to kind of guard my feelings during that time. And I also feel like for those that I love and things, I don't want them to feel like they have to walk on eggshells with me once a month or anything like that. So instead of being like, hey, you know, trying to nitpick about what they say and do to me, you know, I take responsibility. And, you know, I may retreat to myself for a day or two. And it's not like, you know, I disappear off the face of the earth, but you know, I just take my quiet time and I take it very seriously because, again, like we said in last week's video, this is a great time for reflection as well. So not just guarding my feelings, but also this is a time when I want to be able to think through things and reflect on my past month, etc. And so I definitely take that time for do not disturb to be alone. And lastly, I will say this is not necessarily in my toolkit. This is just kind of a mindset or, you know, a habit that I've adopted. I do not get on the scale, nor do I monitor my waistline during my menstrual cycle. So for me personally, even though I've been eating more healthily and things like that, I still bloat a lot during my cycle. And this used to make me feel away, you know, every time it would come. Like, it's crazy because it's like it would happen every month, and every month I'd be like, oh my gosh, I've gained so much weight, without realizing that just happens for me. I guess it's just water weight, but I literally one time weighed myself, you know, before my cycle, during, and then after. I had gained, you know, about 5 pounds during my cycle that went away literally the day after. Another time I weighed myself, I gained a good 3 pounds on my cycle, and it went away right after. And so for me personally, I, you know, do not even allow myself to get worked up if it seems like I'm a little bit thicker, or if it seems like I don't even get on the scale, so I don't know if I'm a little bit heavier anymore. But I just, you know, love on my body throughout that time. And if I am actually trying to work towards a goal, this is a time when I'm not monitoring that, just because for me personally, I know that it's not going to reflect what's actually happening in my body on a regular basis. So if that's something you experience too, give yourself a break. Don't step on the scale. It's going to make you feel worse than you need to, because you will bounce back right after your cycle anyway. So that's what's in my menstrual toolkit. Not too much. I keep it pretty simple. And if there's ever anything that I feel like I need, I allow myself to, switch it up if necessary. But for the most part, these things have been pretty tried and true for me. So I would love to know what works for you. What's in your menstrual toolkit? Let me know in the comments or shoot me a DM and let me know. This concludes the menstrual cycle part of our Women's History Month series. Next week, we will get into vaginal health. We'll be talking about how to take care of our V and make sure that she is at her best on a regular basis. And so I hope that you are able to join us back here for that. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss anything that's coming in the future. Until next time, I hope you have a healthy and wholesome week. Bye.